So, hello. I hope you've been well. I hope you are good. I think there's conversations that we have not been having, and I hate to be the one to shake shit up, but somebody has to do it, right? There are a lot of overdue conversations we have to have publicly, right? And vulnerability and in truth, because anything else would be a waste of time. There's a lot of conversations our elders should have had with us growing up that they failed to have. There's a lot of conversations we should be having. I'm 28 years old. My peers and I are not discussing these things as we should be, because I think a lot of us have unfortunately settled for the status quo. There's a lot of family issues globally, right? Because every family has its issues. At least that's what they say. We talk about patriarchy, but we never talk about how women, our mothers, our grandmothers, our older sisters, our peers, the women peers, are the ones that are actually fighting for it way more than men ever will. We don't talk about how patriarchy doesn't only hurt women, but it also hurts men. We don't talk about how legacy and titles and hierarchies and power is just a cop-out. We don't talk about how validating oneself can only be possible through others. We don't talk about lack of self-love, lack of self-respect, lack of self-authority has ruined us as people. We don't talk about how we as spirits, right, having a spiritual experience in a human, physical, third-dimensional, corporeal body, right? Corporeal, whatever. English is not my strong suit, I guess. We don't talk about how having a spiritual experience as spirits in these meat bodies have really affected us. We don't talk about how money is useless, yet its uses are quite useful. We don't talk about the obvious things. We don't talk about the hurt that we've experienced as kids. We don't talk about the secrets that we've had to keep in order to protect the adults that are there to protect us. We don't talk about all the things we wanted to say to our parents growing up but never had the guts and the courage to. We don't talk about just how useless a nuclear family is. We don't talk about that. Blood is thicker than water. Bullshit. Bullshit. We don't talk about the friends that come into our life and save us from our own doom and gloom and BS that just goes on within because maybe we're the black sheep of the family. We don't talk about how those friends become family. We don't talk about the friends that come in and screw us over and really take a piece of our heart away. We don't talk about these things. We don't talk about relationships and how love is not supposed to be hard. Love is supposed to be actually easier than anything, almost like free will. We don't talk about how sacrifice is pointless. We don't talk about how there is no need for sacrifice. It's just another way, another demise, another self-sabotaging method we use to try and get up on the hierarchy. We don't talk about how our sacrifices, our parents' sacrifices, are but our own. They do nothing for anyone else. Being an immigrant kid in the United States, came to the States when I was 6. Of course, the heavy load, right, of being a kid in America, straight from Africa. And, oh, you should do this and you should be doing that. And the pressure that comes with that, right? The whole time our parents don't even realize and disregard the fact that the only reason we're here is because generations of Black Americans whose ancestors have actually built this country are the only reason we're here. We don't pay homage. We don't show any kind of love or respect. Rather, we show judgment. quite harsh if you ask me. We don't talk about how women all over the place, women globally, are suffering because they never get to breathe. They go from their father's homes, oppressed and pressed upon by their own mothers to perform and be, and not just be, but be what I want you to be. Perform. So then someday you can go to someone's house and be his wife and give him a home. That price is your spirit, right? Give him a home. Turn the house into a home. That takes a spirit. That takes soul. To do the same thing all over again. We don't talk about how men are completely disregarded emotionally. And their only use is to just carry on a legacy, a family legacy, which is but a name. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about all the bullshit that society has to offer. And we don't talk about how when we look around, this cookie cutter citizen, civilian, who is law-abiding and loves their parents and makes their parents proud and makes everyone around them proud, like the legend, right? We don't talk about how these people don't actually exist when we look around. We don't talk about that. We're just having a whole bunch of small talk just to get the day by, just to get on to the next day. I think there's a lot of things we have to talk about, but it all starts at home.